Giant viewers, today I'm just back from New Delhi after picking up my very close relative from the airport. She had to undergo a harrowing experience due to back-to-back flight cancellations. Therefore, today I'm constrained to take a break from geopolitics videos and take a deep dive as to what caused all this chaos in Indigo Airlines. In the last 1 week itself, 4,500 flights have been cancelled. Especially on 3rd and 4th December, passengers were informed of the cancellation only after arrival at the airport, while Indigo already knew about them. Though all are aware, but just to recapitulate the flight duty time limitations. Weekly rest periods for pilots increased from 36 hours to 48 hours. Night duty hours redefined from midnight to 6 a.m. Earlier, it was from midnight to 5 a.m. Each pilot limited to 2 night landings per roster period versus 6 night landings earlier and maximum of 2 consecutive night duty shifts. These rules were to be implemented with effect from June 2024, but there was a pushback from Indigo and other airlines. Finally, after intervention by Delhi High Court, they were rolled out in two phases from 1st July and 1st November 2025. Now, why it took Delhi High Court for implementation of FDTL is a moot point. Now, let's take stock of the crew. Indigo requires 2,422 captains and 2,153 first officers to maintain stable operations. But it has 2,357 captains and 2,194 first officers. So the deficiency is not critical. It's merely 15%. The fact is that Indigo had full 1.5 years to upgrade the pilot's roster software, which should have been done. My own relative is a pilot. I spoke to her at great length. It's not a question of hiring more pilots, but the services of many pilots were grossly underutilized. They were not utilized to the optimal level even after observance of new FDTL rules, as that would have been tantamount to paying them more. Every pilot, as per international norms, can fly for 100 hours, but their contract says lesser number of hours. Also, at the beginning of the winter schedule, why regulatory approval was given for 6% more flights to Indigo. These could have gone to airlines, other airlines, thus avoiding this kind of situation. It's appropriate that today, that is 9th December, 10% of the flights routes, that is 220 flights daily, have been curtailed from Indigo. Now, one can only hope that other airlines have the capacity to fully utilize these 6% flight routes allotted to them after cutting it from Indigo. This could have been done earlier, especially after the crucial meeting of the DGCA with the airline representatives on 1st December. But Indigo didn't mention of the crisis that would befall upon them just after one day, that is 2nd December onwards. So was all this intentional by Indigo? This needs to be reflected in the inquiry, which is to be submitted 12 days from now, with 15 days time given to them and 3 days are already over. Another question coming to the mind of a common man like me is why this chaos started with effect from 2nd December? What happened in those 30 days in November? Another question is that why exemptions were granted to Indigo and other airlines from implementing new FDTL norms. The bottom line is that there should be just no compromise when it comes to safety of passengers. I feel the new bill needs to be tabled in the parliament, ensuring compensation to the passengers for the precious time lost as a result of cancellations. And this is apart from the refunds. An exemplary legal action with heavy financial penalty against the defaulters whether it's Indigo primary owner who is sitting abroad, or the board of directors, or the DGCA. The heads must roll, as it has severely dented the image of the country. An example needs to be set for other airlines. The foreign media has been very quick to provide wide coverage to this development in the last few days. After all, India is the third largest domestic aviation market after USA and China. And out of this, Indigo has a domestic market share of 64.5%. Air India holds 26.7%, and Akasa Air has 5.1%. Forget about leisure trips, but my own relative had to skip a very important business meeting, and there are many others who had to skip their weddings, cremations, job interviews, and medical emergencies as well. I feel passengers deserve financial compensation like in USA and Europe. Just in a similar situation, Ryanair of Ireland had paid $400 per passenger. I also recall during such disruption, British Airways had paid $600 per passenger. We need to strengthen the rights of passengers. Since we are aspiring to become the third largest economy in the long term, we need to encourage more competition in the aviation sector to combat the complacency of monopoly of just one airline. Thank you and do subscribe to my To The Point channel.